Welcome back. Kick. Back. Guys, today we have a special guest coming all the way from LA. He's the man, the myth, Brett.
It's first time in DIE, huh, bro?
No.
I fuck with it down there.
Yeah, right?
It's crazy. It's not like LA. It's not like no traffic, no nothing, huh?
Good parking. You got parking, bro.
I got a whole lot to myself.
You didn't have to fight for it.
Yeah, you don't have to fight for it, bro. You don't have to pay for parking here, bro.
I haven't been able to get your voice out of my head, though.
My voice?
Bro, you kept doing this thing next to me in my ear where you were like, she.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Oh, my God, it's
You
been
played
haunting
your
me.
character now.
Yeah.
No, that was crazy. Like, every time I asked a question, you're just like, a pause, like, she. Like, now, every time I hear someone do that, I think they're about to go, she, but they just like, oh, shit. It's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Guys, if you guys didn't know, I did a recent video with my boy Brett here. We were in David Alvarese's recent video. Well, if you guys watch this, I hope it's still recent. It was what was it called? It was
Blind dating?
It was
Blind
like blind
dating?
dating. Yeah, we like blind dated.
You
It
did
was
well.
it was a blessed. Yeah, I did fucking pretty good, huh? It was a blessed and Dez, and we were it's called bachelors.
Bachelors, yeah.
We were the bachelors. You know, I played my Edgar character. Brett played his
Himself.
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 Dude, I for sure. Did you notice, like, I was disassociating the whole time?
Me too.
Like, if you,
And I didn't notice I was doing that during the
Yeah.
filming.
like, the other dudes were so present. I was like,
Like the first half, I was like, damn, I was that quiet the whole time. I was just like,
dude, we were just along for the ride. We were talking.
I like the way he went out, because they like asked him like bark. Or what they ask you to do?
Oh, that's
First, they pissed me off. They set me up to fail because I knew the second they asked me that question, Hunter was setting me up to fail.
yeah.
He was like, "Oh, you got an ESPN? Is it Lakers?"
Let me see this shit. No, Cowboys.
Damn, my guy knows ESPN.
Cowboys, bro.
he knows that.
No, he set me up to fail because he was like, and I didn't even want to do that shit. I was like, oh, dude, I don't want to be on a dating show. Like, all right, because David's been asking me for years. I did one like 3 years.
You did
ago.
one a long time ago.
4 years ago.
One,
I was like,
one of
fuck
his
it.
first ones.
But I was just like, maybe I'll find love. I'll do it.
Because you did last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 2 times. I did it twice. I did one when he did it on Twitch, and then I did another one when it became a YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, he wanted to bark. You're like, bark. He's like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not going to bark, bro. I respect you for that, bro. Honestly, I wouldn't have bark either. I was like, I'm not going to
already
fucking bark.
annoyed because he asked me the question, if her dog killed my dog, would I still date her? But he also told me before we started filming, like, don't ever say anything that would insinuate you don't want to be with her or that could upset people, that you're like, you say something where you say no, like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to be with her. Always be like, yeah, like, I'll do anything to date you.
Like kind of like simp about
Yeah,
it.
but like the one place you don't cross the line is like my dog. My
Yeah.
dog's my life. So
I
since-
feel you, bro. I feel
and she
you.
was like he asked me, he's like, if her dog killed your dog, would you still date her? I like thought about it. I was like, nah, I'd break up with her.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like,
I
oh,
seen. I was like,
shit.
oh, respect.
like,
Respect.
okay,
Look,
this is
so
a man
good.
right
So
here.
then I was like annoyed, and then they're like, well, bark for her, and I'm like, nah, dude, I'm already kicked off this show. I'm embarrassing myself now. Like, just send me home. And then that's when I looked at you, and it was time, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, you're like, dude, I'm out. And I was like, oh, okay, I think
then-
you're out.
And
Yeah,
didn't
it's over.
didn't they like proceed to like ask you once you like walked in front of the curtain, like, can you still bark for me or something like that?
Did she? I don't remember.
I believe
know what
so.
she said. Wait, what? Like she asked you, like, if you can bark.
Can you actually bark for me now?
Yeah.
And he
Or
was
like when you did the
and
reveal.
and you're like, no. And then you like, I don't know what you did, and you just left. I was like, respect.
That was low-key gangster. Like in the moment, I was like, damn, he should have barked. But then like when I watched the video, I was like, dude, that was gangster as
Dude,
fuck.
I didn't watch that part back, honestly. I couldn't even
No.
watch it.
Do you like to watch yourself? Like when you're like in a video, do you go back and watch yourself or do you cringe up?
I cringe, but when I had the podcast with Todd, I would watch all the edits because I'd get like insecure and shit about things. But I hate watching myself on camera.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
bro.
I hated watching that episode. Like
Yeah.
that video with David. That shit made me feel like I look like an asshole. Like I look like a
I
dick.
also thought like it wasn't gonna do well, and then I talked to David because David was at the wedding too, and I was like, "You think this shit's gonna do well?" He's like, "Bro, it's gonna do great." Like I'm like, "What about it was so special?"
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know. And then it was like top 15 trending on YouTube.
Yeah,
That's good, bro.
yeah, it was top
Like,
15. Yeah, it
damn.
was crazy.
It was funny because Efrain loves fashion. Like you see his fashion, he likes to dress up and
I'm a
everything.
stylish guy. I'm a stylish.
And when we got there, all the dudes were dressing up nice. You dressed up nice and everything. Efrain was like, "Fuck, bro, I'm in this Edgar outfit. Like I hate it."
David asked me, he was like, "Can you play your Edgar character?" I was like,
Well,
I was
you know,
like, okay.
originally it was supposed to be a different video. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be. She was supposed to rate us based on our
Outfits.
outfits.
It was that.
So
Yeah.
I would have dressed differently too. But then I was asking David, I was like, are people dressing goofy? Like, I'm going to dress really clean cut and play that role. Because, like, I thought everyone
Yeah,
had to play
I
the
remember
role.
you told
He
me
was
that.
like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, I was like, I brought a couple different outfits. And then when we started, he was like, nah.
He's like, nah,
Yeah.
we're gonna do something completely
Which is
different.
annoying because the last video I did was blind dating too.
Yeah, I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I showed up as the Edgar character. I knew I was gonna play that character. I knew I was gonna be an asshole. I knew I was gonna be like a little player and then like a little asshole towards the end. Cause in my mind I was like, okay, I'm gonna get enough screen time, but not win.
Yeah.
I don't want to win. You know why? Cause did you see how that Billy lost, the Asian kid?
How do you lose?
He lost. Like they basically like made him like they embarrassed him in a way. Like it was kind of funny.
The comment section loves him though. I read
They loved him because he was
Yeah.
fucking funny. He was actually
He's
pretty funny.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Shirt
but everyone was saying like towards the end, like it got really awkward.
It gets
like, just
awkward.
the last two.
Just those last two,
it
because
was
you're
awkward.
face to face her. So I'm like, I do not want to be a part
I
of
was
that part.
surprised. At first, I was surprised Nick won, but then when I saw his like chemistry with her, I was like, oh shit, that actually like he was gonna win the whole time.
His aura,
Yeah,
is
he's
crazy.
Yeah.
He's a fly dude. He's a fly dude.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then like
He was saying some crazy shit, but it didn't matter.
it was
I know
fun.
that shit was freaky. I was like, damn, okay, that shit got me. I was like, all right, shit.
If you want to take it home, I will.
Where's the video at right now? Let me
I
see.
don't know, maybe 1 million. I have no idea.
I hope so.
Should we
Shit.
say?
Let me see, David.
But I did the video. So before he was doing videos for YouTube, he had a Twitch dating show as well. Like there was like a 6-month period where I think they called themselves the Cam Boys. It was like Key and JC
Okay.
and their whole crew. They were doing Twitch. And David's channel started popping off, and he would do like variety shows. And he did a dating show, and he had I met his friend. I don't want to say her name. I don't really give a fuck. Her name's like Jasmine.
Okay,
Mexican
Jasmine.
chick.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
A fitness
Okay.
model. She's cute.
Yeah.
And I had told David, like I saw her in some of his videos. I was like, that girl's pretty cute. He's like, bro, like let's do the dating show. So we had met like before he took us to Saddle Ranch, so we had already kind of met.
yeah.
And I think it was me, Christian CV, and Alex Wasabi. We were the 3 contestants. And it was such a different type of show, but it was just like David hosting. Like David's
Yeah.
like amazing and like
Yeah.
he loves love and like bringing people to places.
Yeah.
And I won the show. And then after we went in the hallway as I was going home, and she followed me out, and like we made out in the hallway. And I was like, wait, this is crazy.
I like that.
What?
I was so stoked. But then I was like, let's keep this between us. And she goes back in the room, back on Twitch. Immediately just was like, yeah, I just made out with him in the hallway.
Oh.
So then like David's just like giving me so much shit and like loving it. And then we actually were like seeing each other, like we would hang out, like,
Yeah.
or whatever you call it in LA.
Yeah.
Like a couple months. And I don't want to say anything negative, but we weren't a fit. I'll say this, like I like to kind of go to the beat of my own drum. I'm not good with like times. Like I'll show up on time for meetings, but like I don't like rules.
Yeah. You like to live in the moment, huh? Type of
I'm
vibe.
kind of like chill, and she didn't like that, and I thought we had like a conversation. Like if you don't like that, that's who I am. So maybe we're not going to work. I thought we were on the same page. This was on March 31st. So the next day, I text her. I'm like, hey, like, what did you think of that conversation we had last night? And she's like, I don't know. How do you feel? And I'm like, honestly, not great. And she's like, me too. I'm like, well, glad we're on the same page. And then she goes, I thought you were going to say April Fool's Day.
Oh.
And I was like, nah, I'm serious.
Oh, because I was just about to ask you, like, how do you remember like the date? March 31st.
Well, I also have like some form of Asperger's
Yeah.
where I can remember the dates of everything. So that's a different story. But I do remember the dates. But this is an easy thing to do.
Yeah, that's
Because
an
she's
easy
just
thing.
like, she was like, oh shit. And I was like, yeah, this is awkward. And like, gotta love
This is
April
all through,
Fool's
like-
Day.
If it was me, I would have been like, April Fool's. And
No,
like,
I was like, well, I'm dead ass. Like, I'm serious. And then that's how we stopped seeing each other.
It was all through message or like on the phone.
Yeah, she didn't like that I texted her. But I thought, in my mind, I thought the in-person conversation had happened the night before. So I left that being like, oh,
Yeah.
we just ended things because she said that would be an issue for her if I don't want to change.
Yeah.
So then it's over, right? But I didn't we didn't say like that's over. But I'm like, again, I'm not good with this type of like
Yeah.
women
Yeah.
shit. So I think we're done. But then, yeah, April Fool's became real.
Yo, bro, you
That's the
put your
craziest
foot
story.
down, bro. I would have been like, yeah, it is April Fool's.
I would have been embarrassed. I'm like,
I would have lasted it for like a week more and be like, hey, I want to come clean. I was actually being for real on April 1st.
No, I was like, no, I wrote, I got you. You gotta love April 1st.
Dude, as fucking.
That's what I responded.
Yeah.
Because I panicked. I was like, fuck.
Damn.
He was like, I was
I was like,
joking.
no, I'm serious. I said, no, I'm serious. Gotta love April 1st.
Oh, bro,
Damn.
that would have break. If I was the girl, I would have been like, for sure, never talk to you. I wouldn't. I don't know.
You know, she never wanted to talk to me again. I ran her into our party. She at first did that thing where she pretended she didn't know me. And then I was like, I'm sorry. That was fucked up. But like, we weren't going to work. And now she's like, I think in like a very happy relationship, like probably going to marry this dude. I haven't talked to her in years, but David told me that. So,
Yeah, that's good though.
so I'm happy.
good.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm still, like I lost. Like I'm still alone and never been in love. So
No,
she
no.
won.
You
Nah,
didn't
bro.
lose.
No, you didn't lose.
You'll find
bro.
the one.
You're still doing good, bro.
You're doing good for yourself.
Are you happy?
For the most.
There we go. Then
Think of it like
In
this.
what respect?
We're all puzzles in life. We just gotta find our piece that fits us right. You
You
know?
guys
Oh.
happy? You guys seem like happy guys.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I'm pretty happy.
I'm pretty happy.
Pretty happy.
You never know what people are going through behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
I hope
true.
you're
That's
doing
true.
good, bro.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
That's true.
And,
There's always
and we always tell people that come on our podcast, like whenever you feel any type of way, reach out to us and we'll be happy to just
love that.
be buddies. You know,
That was
that's what
something
we
that
are.
was so important to me when we had our podcast. Was like, I was actually telling my sister this. Like, I went to a party the other day and I saw Harry Jowsey. I saw, who else did we see? Like, Alyssa Violet, who's a good friend of ours. But like, I could go down the list of like all these people that had been on our podcast who we hadn't talked to in like a while. And when I saw them, it was like no time had passed and they were so excited. And like, it was like we were still friends. And I'm like, these are people that I would see around all the time. But if I hadn't had them on our podcast in that 1 hour of feeling like an intimate connection with them, it's like years later, I still see them out and like you still act like you're friends. And
yeah.
like
Yeah,
Burge is
that's
another
cool.
example. Like we were friendly, but after he came on my podcast, like we became best friends. I don't know if you know Cooper Narega and he passed away, but his girlfriend Sab.
No, I'm not familiar.
Like
No.
he came on our podcast. We talked about sobriety because he was working on getting sober. I am sober, and like mental health and that whole connection. And then for like 6 months, I became like a big brother and mentor to him as he like was dealing with like working on that, and he ended up relapsing and passing away. But it was like I was so grateful that the podcast helped me connect with people on such a deep level.
Yeah.
It's important, dude. Yeah, because we have all these people, and like you think to yourself like when you invite a guest, and you're like, oh, they're just a guest. But it's important to make a relationship. Like half of these people are like literally our friends,
Like our close friends.
our close
Like,
friends.
We need to put more. There's more people.
Yeah, we have a lot more people. Like,
we ran out of film. We're like, okay, we need.
but everyone we reach out to, we've gotten like invited to all their parties.
Yeah,
All
But
their
it's more
big,
than that,
big,
yeah.
just events that they have, and do we just like to build relationship with?
Totally. I mean,
our
Sam and
people.
Colby. You guys were talking about this before. Like, I didn't know even who Sam and Colby were before they were on our podcast. Like, Todd was more friendly with them. I think Zane and Heath had maybe made some. They didn't do like ghost hunting videos, but they had. I don't know. They maybe went on a trip together like years before. So I didn't know who they were. I guess I'd gone to a party at their house on Halloween a few years before. But
You didn't even know?
I didn't even know it was their house. They come on our podcast. Like, Sam is one of my best friends to this day. It's crazy how
Yeah.
That's
You just-
crazy.
it really gives you an opportunity to build a connection with someone.
Yeah.
on a real
Yeah.
level. And,
To have a really cool friendship. I like that. That's cool.
yeah.
First and foremost, I just want to say, Brett is an interesting guy.
Okay.
When I first met him, he told me a lot of shit. Like he was like explaining, and I didn't know this.
What I do.
You're a professional poker player.
I know, bro. I didn't know that either until you told us that day. I was like, really? And then I did my research.
You keep it under
I was
wraps
like,
a little bit, huh? You don't post it.
I think it's for me. I like to play poker with professionals
Yeah.
as a hobby.
As a hobby,
is
that's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
You're on TV and everything.
Yeah, but
you got a hoodie on, you looking cool as shit, and you're just fucking playing poker, bro.
Yeah, but I'm like, if I'm gonna compete, I want to compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
The best of the best.
I want to compete against the best players in the
If
world.
I'm gonna lose, I'm losing against the best,
best,
player out
yeah.
there.
Like, the coolest experience of my life was, I had 2 deep runs. I had a deep run the last 2 summers, 1 deep run for a live tournament during the World Series of Poker. One tournament I got 26 out of 1,500 against some of the best players in the world. And then I got 20th last summer out of like 1,500 people in a big 5K tournament. And it was, final 3 tables. I'm like, and then some of these guys have become my friends as well. Like,
Sick.
there was the number 1 Asian player, Punat, who I think is like, I fucking would watch him on TV playing in tournaments, being like, he's so cool. And his friend Danny Tang has become one of my good friends, and they're the two top Asian players in the world. And to my right is the guy Arthur Marta Rosen, who's like a top 10 player in the world. And I'm like,
playing with these guys.
Yeah, and I got Nick
crazy.
Maimonis. He's like the number one online crusher right now, and it's like they're all like these dudes I'm playing with all day for a few days, and I felt comfortable that like, okay, I can hold my own with these guys. I still study like 40 hours, 50 hours a week.
Damn.
Because I want to be as great as I can be, but I don't want to make it my living. So I just enjoy when I have the opportunity to play with the best in the world that I can compete with the best.
Do you play with like your friends and they're just like, fuck this guy?
When I play with my friends, I intentionally don't play that well.
Oh,
okay. But they know that, huh? They know that, huh?
Pure heart. That's a pure heart.
I hate that, bro.
There's two rules of thought. I'll either like let them win because then they get cocky and do stupid shit, and then I'll money.
You're like a hustler.
Or like on my birthday, I threw a poker night for some people, and I invited so many people, and they were there for me for my birthday. I'm like, I'm not just gonna sit here and like play the nuts. The nuts is like the best cards, and like, or like run a huge bluff on them and put them in a stressful position for like $2,000 where they're just like,
that's my rent, bro. That's my rent.
Bro, why'd you just run this bluff on me? And like, now they have to fold, like, and like they're all upset.
Now they lose their whole rent money.
I know.
Yeah, like, I'm not doing this to them.
Yeah.
But I will say my friend from high school when I was in New York was like, yo, can you come to my friend's poker game? We have like a friendly game. So I went once. Same thing. I noticed I was winning too much, so I pulled back and I donated. Like made sure that they won hands, like so that they could have the money.
He's a
back.
nice guy right there.
Crazy. You can play poker and you can hold back so other people.
Yeah, you
can
just
earn.
don't
That's
3-bet
crazy.
as much, or you don't run crazy bluffs. You just play chill. Yeah, just chill. But then my friend was
crazy.
like, "Yo, don't do that again. Like, come back and play for real." And I asked everyone, I was like, "Do you guys want me to play chill? Or you want me to play for real?" They all said like, "Yo, play your game. Play for real. We want to see what happens." 2 people left the game early. They're like, "Fuck this shit."
That's crazy.
Stupid.
Has there already been like
3-bet, 4-betting? I'm fucking running bluffs. I'm doing crazy shit. Like I don't even think I'm that great of a player, but I think it was Negreanu on Lex Friedman podcast has a quote which is controversial because some people disagree with this, but he's like, playing games where the 7, 8 other people at the table are worse than you and you're gonna win money. It's like that's what he said. Dan Bilzerian's whole thing is like he plays against billionaires who he's better than. That doesn't make him the best player in the world necessarily. But if he's only in playing games that he knows he can win, then he's going to be doing great.
Yeah.
That was what happened to me on Hustler Live. Like, I think skill level wise, I play really well against really aggressive, wild players who like to run big bluffs themselves, and I can play well against those people. And that's why I was able to be successful on like that live stream. But in this game, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna. I was never invited.
Yeah, like the first time I ever won at a casino, I wasn't even supposed to go. Because I cut up my grandpa's hair, and what I do is I go to his house. So my grandpa had called me throughout the day. He was like, "Hey, you come to the house and cut my hair." I said, "Yeah, grandpa, I'll be there." And I'm going to my grandpa's house, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call my dad, see if he wants to go over, and I'll cut their hair. I call him, and he's like, I'm like, "Pops, what you doing now?" He was like, "Oh, I'm about to take grandma to the casino."
Which one?
At the Morongo over there by Cabazon. And I was like, he was like, "Do you want to go?" I was like, I don't really want to play, but I'll go with you. We could probably I have an ace, so we could go get something to eat. He was like, "All right, cool." So we go to the Morongo. We get to the front of it. It was me, my dad, and my grandma. My grandma immediately, she was like, "All right, guys, I got to go." Boom. She left us. She was quick with it. She was like, "All right, boom, I'm leaving." It was just me and my dad. And we're walking by the casino. And he was like, "Here, I'll give you these $20 to play. You don't have to put your money." I was like, all right, then I'll put the $20 in. I was doing slots.
Yeah,
I was doing, I don't know what it's called. It's like a drums type of thing. So I'm betting. I bet once or twice and I didn't get nothing.
Okay. Was that it?
No. And then the third time I hit and it gave me free spins. And I don't know where it came to a point where I had to match 3 in a row. So it was mini, minor, major, and then I don't know, whatever. So I ended up winning $1,000 off $20. That wasn't even mine.
Crazy. I've never played slots. I don't.
And I was like, you know what?
slots scare me, bro?
The minute I won the 1,000, I just left. I took it out.
You took it?
I went to go cash it out. They gave me my money. I took my dad to get something to eat, and we just left. I was like, bro,
Never
crazy.
not putting that.
From not even wanting to go play to coming out with $1,000. I never told my mom I didn't even tell my grandma. The only person I ever told was, I didn't even tell my girl at the time either. I just told Ruben, the one my uncle that I work with, and that's the only person that knows. So they could probably like know from here like I won $1,000 at the
Pretty
casino.
sick though.
The only time I ever bet is on Price Picks, like sports betting.
I'm so bad at that. I think
Dude,
I'm good.
suck
but
at
I'm
that
so
shit,
bad.
dude.
I fucking suck at it, bro. Like,
Dude, it's such a scam.
dude, I do
Yeah,
soccer.
low-key it is.
I'm thinking I know soccer. Like, I'm fucking knowledgeable. I have ball knowledge. Turns out, I guess I don't know shit, bro, because I
Yeah.
keep losing, bro.
Well, poker is the only casino game where you don't. There's the edge against the casino doesn't matter. The casino's not going to stand in the way of your edge. It's you versus the player. So if you can, like, I've gone and played poker at like I'll go to bed at 9 p.m. Wake up at like 5 a.m., 4 a.m. Go down to the casino like floor and play against drunk people in poker because I know I have an edge because they're fucking drunk and I'm
That's just pretty
That's
smart,
so
fucking
bro.
like
smart.
you can make money doing that shit. But I will tell you, like, when I was younger, when I was like your guys' age, like 22, 23, 24, I used to go on Vegas trips with my friends. Like I was working with DJs and music and maybe making money for the first time in my life. So me and my friends would go to the casino and we'd only play blackjack. And we all thought we were good at blackjack.
Blackjack is like just to 21, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the truth is like, if I didn't know what to do, I'd just ask the dealer, like, what's the
Help me
book?
out, help me
What's
out.
the book say to do? That's what you're supposed to say. Oh, what's the book say? And then they tell you, like, there is skill in like your bet sizing and like feeling the flow. Like some people are really good at that shit, but it is a lot of luck and just kind of like hitting kind of hitting a streak. But there was one night, like me and my friends went to Vegas on a whim. We started at 11 p.m. This is when I drank too, and I kept drinking rum and cokes. I started at 11, like I completely black out by like 2 a.m. because before my drink was even like halfway done, they just keep refilling it. I'm with 3 friends. To start the night, we had like a pretty normal hotel room.
Yeah.
We just like had some backpacks with us. The 3 out of 4 of us all went on the craziest run where we started with $400 or $500. Collectively, we were up like $35,000-$40,000 within like 5 hours. Like we all were at different tables. We couldn't lose. We're all looking at each other like getting like black 1Ks, then like the yellow 5Ks, and I'm just like, holy shit. Like this is crazy.
This is all blackjack.
It's all blackjack, and they keep saying to us like, "Oh, we moved your bags to like a nicer room. We comped you like a $500 spa day each. We gave you like a buffet." This is at the win.
Fuck.
Like they're just like giving us all this free shit, and like before we even notice, our drinks were never empty. So we're by like 6, 7 a.m. I don't remember shit. I black out. I have pictures of like my chips. Like I was up like probably 14K from like $400. I come to all I can remember. I have a 5K chip left. I put it. I'm like on tilt. I just put it down. And I lose the hand. I lost it all. And so did my friend Danny. My friend Jeff, I think, like left up like 5K. But we all go up to this hotel room. It's like the nicest hotel room like that I've ever seen. It like has like 2 bedrooms, marble table.
Damn.
Like 3,000 square
We gotta
feet.
go. We gotta go to Vegas.
So that's where you are. That's all
And-
you were left with.
And I'm sitting on the marble floor, like almost in tears. My friend was in tears, Danny. He's crying. And I'm like, none of this even fucking matters. Like, I don't want any of this shit. Like, I don't want the money. I don't want this stupid hotel room. And like, we were both so sick, we couldn't even go to the spa the next day. Like, we went home. We were like, I'm not going to get a massage. I'm just going to be sad the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want this free ass massage. I want my money, dude. Like, fuck
Damn,
this
bro.
shit.
You guys were up like 35 and then lost it all.
I think I lost everything. Danny lost everything. My friend Jeff, I think, like left with 5K. But we were each up like 12.
I love how like
Imagine your friend Jeff was like, well, I still got 5K, guys. I don't know.
I just love how the story was like going up, and he's like, "Yeah, we lost it all." I was like, "Oh, for sure."
I don't play fucking table. I don't play games against the house anymore.
No?
Damn.
Wow,
No, I
dude.
think you're just at some point you're gonna lose everything.
Was that the last time you took a Vegas trip?
No, I've been to Vegas like 300 times.
Yeah. What's like the craziest thing you've seen in Vegas? Because I know sometimes they always say like,
Oh.
"What happened?
Not-
Whatever happens
wait.
in Vegas stays in Vegas."
Are you asking like non-poker?
non-poker?
really?
Like just the
Really?
craziest thing you've seen in Vegas?
There's a lot of shit I can't talk about.
Oh,
Oh, you
is that
can't?
crazy? Okay.
Yeah, but like I'm also the wrong person to ask because my experience with Vegas between poker and also like working with DJs is crazy because like my real life career since I was 18 was as a music manager and
Yeah.
music A&R. And starting around 21, 22, I got really deep into the dance music scene. I started working with like some of the biggest DJs in the world. Became really good friends with who's like one of my best friends to this day is Martin Garrix. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love him. I love his music.
You know, we worked on a song together that I helped with called "In the Name of Love," which went on to be like one of his biggest
Dude,
songs.
I
Angel
love that
fucking love that. Angel, bro. You used to fucking.
That was my
Replay.
alarm.
Oh, really?
When I was in middle school, I used to wake up to that song
used to
every
replay
day.
that
Oh,
shit in
sick.
middle school, bro. So
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
half of that shit was
Thank you,
coming
bro.
from him,
Thank
bro.
you, bro. I appreciate
There's
it.
a lot of people involved, of course. But, Martin always took really good care of me. And, like, there was a time, like between, like, 22, 25, where, like, I'd go to Vegas with him all the time. And, like, we'd, be in the DJ booth. And then when the pandemic hit, I didn't go for a couple of years. And then these last few years, I mean, I think I went to almost every show with him last summer.
Mm-hmm.
He was just there this past weekend, but before he left, we got dinner. The day he got back, we got dinner. It's like I'm with him so much that, like, between Martin or poker, like I was in Vegas more this last summer than I was in LA. And
So it was more like business stuff.
and like when I'm with Martin, like it's obviously, there's nothing like, there's no stories that are like illegal shit or crazy
Yeah.
like that, but it's like the experience that I get being with like a DJ who has a residency, and it's obviously to the normal person probably pretty cool. Like you're in the DJ booth, you have a really
is
nice
fucking
dinner,
awesome.
Yeah,
there's
that's
an
dope.
after party.
I wish one day I could do that.
And like the girls
Be in
that,
the
the
DJ booth.
girls I always remember by the girls that end up at the after party, they're like, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity for them. So, because I don't drink, I always make sure to like, make sure they're having like a great time and like,
You're like, yeah, that one song he was playing. I was a part of that.
You know what? I will respect. I would not tell girls that. I did one time when I was drunk and I got roasted.
Yeah.
Why?
How did that go? Like, why?
I said to the girl I was an A&R on the song, right? Like I sent him the top line, but like I wasn't the producer, I wasn't the songwriter. It's a misconception like what an A&R even is. So it's like, I don't want to go into the details, but I told this girl, she's like, oh, what'd you do? I was like, oh, I sent him the top line, like, whatever.
Oh,
Maybe,
everything.
like I was involved in certain aspects of it. And she's just drunk. And we're all at this after party, and she's like, "Do you guys know that Brett invented In the Name of Love?" And says that to all these people. All my boys were there, like who work with Martin, like, "Oh, so you were invented in the name of love?" And I'm like, "That's not what I said." They still give me my friend Alec, who's like at the time was one of his managers, and he's one of my best friends. Like, he still gives me so much shit. Oh, remember when you invented In the Name of Love? So I like,
Just remember that
shit.
moment.
Like, I don't even ever talk about that. So I don't, like, I'm even embarrassed telling this story. Like, I don't do that. But Martin is always like, if he sees me talking to a girl, he'll be like, "Yo,
that's it.
he goes,
You made that song.
He goes, "Yo, in that song?" And he's like,
invented
made this
that
he's
shit.
like, "I wouldn't have had that song if it wasn't for him." He'll say shit like that, and the girl's like, "Wait, really?" I'm like, "I don't know, dude."
That's game though.
You go with it, huh? You were like,
game,
yeah,
though.
that was good.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, I have more respect to the guys who wrote and produced the song.
What's like? Explain what A&R is.
It's more of like an executive producer or producer in film, in the sense that like you're involved in business aspects, you're involved in like
Publishing.
publishing, like setting up the session sometimes. Like, it's always different. In that song, it was different than a lot of the other songs, but like I've managed a lot of producers, so I'll set up the session where the writers show up, they write the song. Then I'm responsible for pitching the song. So if an artist, for example, doesn't write their own music, I'll pitch it to their team if I think it's the right fit. If an artist does write their own music, but they want the right producers and songwriters to work with, like Oliver Tree's an example of this. Like, friends with his manager, his A&R was my old roommate. I felt like there was a producer who I thought would be a great fit for his project. So I like worked on, there's an art form to it, but making sure that he worked with my producer. And then over like 2-3 years, helping them build a relationship. And then that guy ended up writing half of his first album. He wrote Miss You. It was, Oliver Tree, like, went on to be one of his biggest songs. So it's like, it takes years and years to sometimes foster these relationships. So there is like definitely more to it than just setting up sessions, pitching songs.
Yeah, it's like an invisible art that nobody
And
sees.
I think the best ones are good at thinking outside the box and like, who's good at lyrics, who's good at melodies. Like, I think like someone who's really good at writing like electronic rock songs would be really good with this pop artist and create like an alternative vibe. Like I enjoyed thinking outside the box. Like I don't do it as much anymore, but I think that's a lot.
It's almost like it's almost like production. Like you're working like outside, like it's just building something, right? Like putting stuff together with them.
And I also really liked finding songwriters and producers at a really early stage. So like I always try to find a writer, producer who was aspiring, who hadn't had ever a release with an artist, and then help them develop to the point where they can walk into the room with any artist, any producer, any co-writer, and write a great song that day. Because that's hard, and I would kind of be more of a coach. And then it's about knowing, like, okay, I heard this song, this is a hit. I was getting pitched like sometimes 10,000 songs in a year, identifying the songs that I thought had the potential to be hits, and finding the right
What are some of the songs you're like, oh yeah, this is a hit, and it became a hit? Like an
that
example
I worked on or that I didn't work on?
that you worked on.
Like right away, you heard it and you're like,
That-
oh, this
that-
shit
like,
be crazy.
There was a song called Home by BB Rex, Sex Ambassadors, and MGK. When I heard it, it was like a ballad.
That was the one that was on that one movie, right?
Bright.
Bright, yeah.
Yeah, so like
Remember Bright, the alien one?
my
Yeah.
my friend Joe at Atlantic was like the music supervisor on that movie. So then like he came to me and he was like, "Yo, do you want to see some clips of the film? Like, what songs would work well in the film?" He actually had one of his friend from high school was actually coincidentally like a writer on the song as well. So there was like a lot of different moving parts, but that was a song where when I heard it, the writers they didn't even send it to me because they're like, "Oh, this shit sucks," because the verses sucked. But the chorus, I'm like, "This is a hit."
Yeah.
So we went in and did like 25 different versions. I brought in like multiple different producers. I brought in other people to try and rewrite it. We tried it as like a dance song. We tried it as a pop song. We tried it as like, and then when we made it into like a rap song, it was like, okay, I had this buddy D Phelps who lives in Chicago, and he's like the best drummer I ever met. He worked with like Chance the Rapper and did a Kanye song. So I sent it to him. I was like, "Yeah, we need better drums on this shit if it's gonna be a rap song." And he like redid the production, added some synths and drum and percussion to it. It kind of brought the whole thing together. And then we sent it to MGK. He recorded the verses. Ex Ambassadors did the chorus. And then someone was like, "Let's try getting BB Rex on it." And originally, it didn't sound as great with just her, but then we made it like a duet with X Ambassadors. So like it was a cool, like that was the most creatively I ever got to be involved in the song.
That's
And
awesome, dude.
it didn't do well when it first came out. I think it kind of had a second life with TikTok.
Yeah.
It never was a radio hit, but it has like 500 million streams. So
Yeah.
it ended up doing well. So that was a really cool experience, but I don't know.
That's dope, bro. And
It's
you're
crazy
doing
how
that at
much
a young
it goes
age,
through
huh?
though. Like how much, like you said, you brought in a bunch of people to like write it and then produce it and then brought artists
Yeah.
and it's like it's crazy.
It's already hard to make a song in general.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
to
I
get a
mean,
song.
my favorite shit to work on, which is also controversial, was K-pop. Like they're fucking crazy. Like there's no, I actually like hate how little art there was, but there was almost the art in of itself was how there's no. They take away this like process of art and they actually just like
Simplify it.
it's a machine, dude. They like overthink every little element, like every melody, every lyric. Like they'll go through line by line and they'll redo. They'll do like 10, 20, I don't even know. They'll do like 20, 30 different versions of a song where you're like, okay, we're now rewrite this one line and change this one note. Like, I never did that shit. I'm like, if it feels good, it feels good. If I
Yeah.
can feel it in my gut,
Yeah.
we'll make
But
little
I
tweaks.
did hear like K-pop, like
They're crazy.
artists, like they like suffer when they go through like tours and stuff like that. That's what I heard.
I
Like,
don't know.
like the groups and stuff.
We don't want
like
to talk
that.
shit about K-pop. Really.
I'm not. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Okay,
I heard
that-
it was a
like-
crazy.
Those fans will roast. The fuck
Yeah,
out
that's
of
what I'm
us.
saying. They're like
This
Taylor
podcast
Swift,
won't be
bro.
here tomorrow, bro.
They're like Taylor Swift fans, dude.
Yeah, they're
Really?
crazy. But
Insane.
I loved like going to Korea and working on K-pop songs. Like that was one of the coolest experiences of my life.
Wow,
it was
dude.
so different. It was so unique. Like it wasn't the typical like we're trusting our gut here. It's like yeah, we're making a hit, but it's
Yeah.
I think like complete opposite of everything I do. And then I had like a couple songs in K-pop that did really
There's only a little bit of K-pop songs that I know, bro. I wasn't like
know
a big
much.
fan, but like it's like the way you're putting it, it does sound like it does like the way they're putting it together. Of course, that's why it's working right now because there's so many big like there's so many, it's a big fan base. K-pop is a big ass fan base.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
And then we were speaking of, like music. We were talking about raves, and we were talking about like you come out here to San Bernardino a lot for the raves for the
I've
DJ.
Point
come
show.
the last couple times Martin's played the Halloween show. I came with
okay.
him
What was it? What's that show called?
Beyond? No,
No,
No, it's not Beyond.
what's it called?
because there's countdown on New Year's.
Countdown, yeah. And then there's Beyond, and then there's it's like Wonder.
No, that's the same thing. Nocturnal, is it?
Oh, Nocturnal.
Yeah, is it?
Is it
that one?
Nocturnal?
I think it's Nocturnal.
George,
Do your research, bro. Look it up. for
Yo,
us.
Jamie.
Jamie, yeah, Jamie from Joe Rogan.
Yeah. yeah. Yo, Jamie, what's the name of the
Like, look it up right now.
the
Jamie?
Halloween show?
Escape.
Escape.
Oh, bro, I was
It's
like-
Escape. Oh shit.
I was
Escape.
thinking, it's Escape. There we go. Yeah.
Escape.
I would have agreed with anything you said. I was like, I don't fucking know.
What is Nocturnal? It's still
Yeah, it's still one.
The only
yeah.
ones I know about because I don't even know, but Beyond, Escape, and EDC. Isn't that the thing that they do in Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I-
the biggest.
I never been to one. My
Yeah,
friends-
I've never been to a rave.
Oh,
Me
really?
neither. My
I don't
friends
know.
are always like, dude, you gotta go, and when you go, you gotta get high.
I will
you
say
gotta
I loved it
drunk.
when I was your age.
Yeah?
Like my first year going to EDC was 2013 or 2014. And I was the biggest Avicii fan.
Oh
and,
yeah, I love.
I was interning
R.I.P..
for Corella at the time. I was like 20, 21. I was interning for Cruella, and yeah, my friend took me backstage to see Avicii, and it was like for me, like I understand, like I always think back to that moment for myself. Like I'm so numb to being like behind the DJ booth.
Yeah.
Like 'cause at a certain point, you do it for 10 years, whatever it is. Like
Yeah.
how old am I? 32. So like 11 years. Like I hate to say it, like when you know when you go like to a basketball game and you kind of walk on the court.
Yeah,
you see all
you're
that.
like, yo.
But like then you have friends who like work in that world, or like the cheerleaders are like, you know, if you ever meet any of the dancers, like they're like, oh, like we're back there. It means
Yeah.
They're
nothing
just
to
making
me.
Yeah,
it so
it's-
chill.
It becomes the norm.
It's a
right?
regular
Yeah.
thing for me.
So like for me, like I
They're numb.
started booking concerts when I was 15. So being involved in concerts in some capacity is like pretty numbing to me at this point. But I always look back to this one moment. I was behind Avicii on stage at EDC 2014, and he was my favorite artist in the world. And I was like, I had chills, and I just saw everyone dancing and singing, and I was like, holy fuck! Like that was a moment for me. I'm like, I want to make hits in dance music. And then the next time I had that feeling for an artist that I had the potential to work with was when I met Illenium. And I saw Illenium perform to like 300 people in 2015. My buddy Blake took me to this show, and I was like, you guys know the YouTube channel Proximity?
I don't know who's that. It sounds familiar, but I'm not too sure. I gotta remember. I gotta see faces.
My friend Blake was like my age. Like we were the two youngest dudes in the music industry. He started Proximity, and that was kind of I will say he was a big reason too that I was able to get into the dance music side of the music industry.
Proximity is that one like it's the music one.
Yeah, it's like a P with a lightning.
Yeah, this shit, Angel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go. Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
See.
I forgot what story I was telling. Oh yeah, he took me to Illenium, and then I ended up meeting Illenium's manager, and then I met his record label, and they hired me to like A&R one of his albums. And then like from the time we started that process, like he was selling 300 tickets to show. 2 years later, he sold out Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
So like getting to like be kind of like on the sideline and watching that progress.
It's like amazing.
Like I'd never seen an artist break before. Like I'd been adjacent to it. Like one of my friends like worked with like Melanie Martinez, and she was dating one of my roommates. So like I watched it from like 1 degree of separation away, like watching artists kind of blow up. And I'd seen it happen a few times, but like never where I'm like friends with everyone involved in the project, and I
Yeah.
watch them go from like 300 tickets to Madison Square Garden and 3 nights.
Like
at
being a
Red
part of the
Rocks.
whole process from the
Yeah,
beginning.
and like
kind of.
I remember I went to his Red Rock show. And it's like he's playing "Beautiful Creatures," "Crowd of Love," like "Feel Something," like all these songs that like we worked on together. Like,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm
Wow,
like,
that's
holy
fucking awesome.
Fuck, you have. That was the next time, like after the Avicii show, where I had chills and like
I would have shed tears.
you
I
kind of
would've
you
been
do. You
crying.
want to cry like it's like a weird feeling of like the golden buzzer and America's Got Talent.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, fuck, like why am I crying? But this is amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool, bro.
Dude, I've never been to a rave. I've always wanted to, but it scares me.
Yeah, because
I would
every
love
time
to.
everybody always tells me like, dude, if you go to rave, you have to get high, you have to get drunk. I'm like, and we don't drink, we don't smoke, so I'm just like, I don't know, guys, I don't want to.
Like I don't want to be that annoying like guy who's brought up 5 times and I don't drink, but like I quit because of I thought I was gonna take a month off and it turned into 7 years, and like I just never started drinking again.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But after that, it did make it way more difficult to go to a rave and be in a crowd where it's sweaty and crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I feel like I would be annoyed just being
Yeah.
there, like how everybody's acting
Irritated,
up. I'm
bro.
like,
you
yeah,
guys don't drink and smoke.
So
no,
like
we don't do
I
it.
drink.
I
a little
used to
bit.
drink and I used to smoke and I stopped, but
That's
putting like going to like a place where people are doing that, you kind of feel out of place, you know?
do, yeah.
And that's how I feel every time I go with like my buddies or
Yeah,
around
literally.
places. I'm like, dang.
It's double for me because like standing in the crowd is already difficult enough. Because I work in the industry, so it's like, I think to myself like, oh man, like I'm so used to like having something to do when I'm at a DJ show. I will say like the last couple of years I've stepped away from being as deep in the weeds of creating songs. I've gotten more into like other ventures, like I'm more into the tech world now and shit like that, like
Yeah.
for my business. So I've actually enjoyed music again, but for a while like I couldn't enjoy it when it was what I did for work.
Like I remember you told us off of camera you're like one of your biggest icks.
Oh no.
because of
Okay, we were
raves.
talking about
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
we were talking
about
about
raves.
raves.
You said
this
one of
is
your
so fucked up.
say it. I don't.
'Cause I have like a lot of friends who are girls and like
Dude, 'cause
girls I've seen who,
I
like,
agree with you.
that's
That's
like-
I
why.
agree, 100%.
this is so fucking mean because like these are the people that
That you
are
around?
fans of the artist that I like or whatever. But I lose attraction for a girl if she wears rave attire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. I agree, bro. Like When I see a girl dressed up almost half naked going to a rave in front of like thousands or maybe a shit ton of people, I'm just like, ugh. Why? You know,
Like I don't know. I'm gonna be something like the Dolls Kills. You know, Dolls Kills.
No.
no,
That's the store that they buy their rave clothes at.
Yeah.
I want to burn that store to the ground.
people be having
I didn't even know that shit. What
people
the
be having
fuck?
like jewelry, diamonds all over their face or something like. Ugh.
Bro, like I didn't tell you guys, but this recent barbershop that I just got,
Yeah.
before I owned it, it used to be a rave store.
Oh really?
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I said it was all pink.
That,
Crazy.
That
It was all
explains
pink.
a lot.
I just
And-
think there's. I don't know.
And like the arcade right next to us said that they used to always come over because my windows, I have big old windows in my barbershop, and they used to like not be tinted or anything. But I guess the homeless people that used to be around there, they used to like beat themselves to it because like these girls are like putting all these outfits that like you see everything, you know.
That makes
I was
sense,
like, bro,
Loki.
like, this is
Yeah,
crazy.
that
Well,
makes sense.
Before I was in dance music, I was really into like the music that I like would book concerts for and got me in my job was like emo music. Like
Yeah.
I was in, like
Fuck yeah.
like
That's just
all time
hard.
low, boys like girls, like never shout never.
Oh my, bro! Every time I talk
Obviously,
about Never
like,
Shall Never,
Fall
no
Out
one
Boy,
understands.
You
Which is that
know,
one?
My Chemical Romance. Like
Yeah.
I mean, Paramore, of course. Like Haley Williams was like the queen. You know, like
Yeah.
that was the shit that I grew up on. So there's a fine line between emo goth girls and
Yeah.
rave girls. Very fine line. And I love emo girls and goth girls. Like,
Rave girls, that's different.
but like for some reason, when you cross the line from like hot,
Yeah.
sexy emo pop punk chick to raver girl, it's a very fine line. But if you cross that line, it goes from like I'm in love with you to the ick.
yeah. I agree, bro. I don't like it.
I used to
Like,
work
really
at
don't.
I used to work at Shoe Palace. There's a Shoe Palace right next to the Orange Show, and I remember when they would have raves, dude. I always see all of them like walking. I'm just like,
And it's crazy because over here in San Bernardino, when the raves over here, like I said, like it's raining.
I feel bad shitting on them, but
Yeah, no,
so like-
it's so mean.
yeah.
Because there's like,
But like, let me ask you, like, what is it that you don't like about him?
I just don't think the outfits are like flattering to their bodies.
Yeah.
Is that so fucked up to say?
Yeah,
I'm gonna get.
I don't know.
roasted,
I feel
dude.
like we're gonna get a lot of shit. But hey,
Like I've seen some of the cutest girls in the world, and like when they put on a raver outfit, it's like I don't think that's flattering to them.
what
But
about Coachella outfits?
Coachella's fine. Burning Man is fine.
But raves is different though.
It's just like this bright shit.
I
right?
love like country girls and they're wearing all the denim and overalls and shit. Like that's hot as fuck.
Yeah, that is. I like.
That is pretty.
I like that. That's cool.
I
was
have
like, what the
I, heard,
heck?
I know this story. It's from one of our homies. His sister actually knows a girl. That's a lot, huh? But just bear with me. This girl said that she went to a rave, and she was explaining this story to. And her name's Angie. I'm gonna say Angie. Or Angie, Junior's sister.
Okay.
And she was explaining that her she never wanted to go to raves because what her friend told her, and her friend was like, "Oh, this one time I went to a rave, and I was super like faded." She said she was super faded, and then when she was in this crowd, she was partying and all that, and all of a sudden she realized that there was a needle stuck to her leg,
No, that's fucked up.
straight up, and there was a needle stuck to her leg, and she started tripping out. And she went to I guess there's
There's always med tents.
yeah, like a med tent, and she went there and they were checking her out and said that she was perfectly fine, like nothing was going on, she didn't feel anything, but she said that she freaked out after that, and she never went to another rave.
Yes.
I wouldn't either.
That's
the
fucking
fuck?
crazy, right? But she said she didn't feel it go in, and she just saw it there,
Like
which
when
is
you
insane.
when you get stabbed.
Yeah, I would have been like, bro, I got something, bro. I
got something, bro. Like,
I'm
kill
cooked,
me now,
bro.
please.
I'm cooked, bro.
That's fucked up.
Yeah,
That's
when I heard
sad.
that story, that changed my mind completely about going to rave, because I don't want to go to one no more.
I mean, there is something still special about them.
Yeah, you're a poker player.
Okay.
You're a music exec.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. And then
I'm a little bit of that,
then you do tech, but where we found you from,
Oh shit.
and where we talked to you from, when we first talked to you was through your podcast,
Yeah.
Good Boys, right? How's that going? Because you haven't done it for a minute.
Yeah, I know. We haven't filmed.
It was a great podcast. It's
Yeah,
a great
I used to
podcast.
watch
You had
it.
so many
I think I
cool
watched-
I
guests.
would watch it weekly when you guys were posting.
Were you really? I didn't even know people watched.
Yeah, I did. I remember
You watched the long form or the clips?
both.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a bunch of here in the IE there we had this community of podcasters, and when your show came out, your show was #1. Everybody was talking about here in the IE. Like people are sending me your account, like, dude, you should get these guys on the podcast. They're
though?
glowing up because we saw like the potential that you guys had. Like you guys' clips were dope. We're
I
like,
love your guys' studio.
Because you
I
said
love-
like my clips are doing great, but the long.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
people watched the long.
I love the 80s vibe you guys were.
yeah, I love that,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
I love.
I
that,
even
dude.
grew my hair and dyed it blonde. For it.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I remember that.
like I had like 4 people send me your guys' podcast. Like, dude, you guys should get these guys on. Like, their podcast is doing great.
That's sick. Well,
So you guys
Todd and I are filming our first episode tomorrow in 2 years. So
finally, damn, same set and
you guys are the
everything.
first people to know.
Like same set and everything, or is
No,
it
I got rid
different?
of my apartment, so we lost our set. I still have like, we're gonna use Jason's set. It just started off. I don't think we'll see how it goes. I mean, I would like to continue doing it. Todd was the one who really was the engine for bringing it back. He was like, he's been asking me for like a year to start doing it again. I don't think we realized how special it is what we had until like a year had passed. We're like, our numbers were crazy. If we kept doing like, the truth is, we weren't making a lot of money. It was costing us money every episode. Weren't getting enough ads. We had to hire people to edit for us. We weren't editing ourselves and run the cameras because neither of us were doing that. I loved getting guests. That part was actually not that difficult. Like we always were getting really cool guests. We found
definitely.
We
But,
talked.
yeah.
I talked to you about it. I was like, people love podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, people
But,
love that shit. They'll hop on a podcast.
At the time, we couldn't monetize the fact that we were doing like sometimes 20, 30 million views a month on TikTok and Reels. Like we couldn't monetize and shorts. Like we couldn't monetize it. Now it's so much easier to monetize short form for podcast. Like I talked to someone the other day that told us the numbers we could have been doing if we kept doing it. I was like,
Dude, yes.
that's
you
not
guys,
why we're coming back. I think it was about everything that I do, and I know Todd is very, very similar. But like, if you didn't get the hint, like, I need to be like passionate, invested, and care about the art of something. And I think there was like a series of events that happened. Like I love Todd, and like I think he was a little bit checked out towards the end and getting frustrated with himself. I mean, if I'm being transparent, like I think when Cooper died, that was like really hard for me because I had gotten so close with him and his family and all of his friends. So I just needed like mental break from a lot of things. And then I had a really successful career in music, but then I was pivoting to starting a music tech company, and that was really difficult. And I was having a tough time like raising money for that. So there was just like so many things going on all at once. Where I was like, I just needed a break, and then once you stop, it's hard to start again.
but it's good to take breaks.
But I think like
It is.
Todd and I have grown so much. I think he broke up with his girlfriend, and he went through some life shit with his career, where I think he's grown up a lot. And then me, for sure, I can speak on that for myself. Like I've gone through so much life shit the last couple of years, where I'm like, I think if we come back, we can actually have more authentic conversations about things we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Be more of ourselves. Where I think towards the end, Todd and I were like being caricatures of ourselves and not being the versions of ourselves that we wanted to be. We were being versions of ourselves that we thought we should be because of like insecurity.
Like during
Yeah.
a show, right? Like
Yeah, and like
Putting
I think we
on
had
the
a good
front
dynamic,
type of
but
style.
I was almost like Todd. Like I love our conversations when it's just us, but then like I think our dynamic was great for the camera, like, because like I like to have like more deeper intellectual conversations and ask questions. And Todd's really fascinated by those things, but sometimes you need someone to come in and just be like bring a insane energy. And Todd was really good at bringing energy, but I do think there was times where maybe we were frustrated with each other.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to bring it back and see like what is it going to be.
Yeah, I was watching. I even loved the name, the Good Boys podcast. It was dope. I
will
liked
say
it.
this: I've never met Josh Peck. I know Todd and Jason and the whole Vlog Squad's friends with Josh Peck. He named his podcast "The Good Guys" right after us. Like he fucking.
Oh, brother.
I'm fucking not.
He said, "Oh, brother."
I don't know that guy, but dude, you took our name, and you're friends with you're friends with Todd. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of common sense.
Did
like,
he know? Like, did he know that of your guys' podcast?
I don't know.
I'm excited to see your guys' podcast come back. Like, you guys had some great guests and some great stories. I know you told me when we were talking, like when we went to the David's thing, you told me you were like, oh, I don't know and all that, but I'm excited that you guys are gonna do it again.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
I
I
hope
got
you guys continue.
caught in a loop this last year or so where like just so used to saying no to things.
Yeah.
Before most of my life, I just said yes, but the problem was like because I said yes to so many things in my life, like a lot of great things happened, but I'd get distracted a lot with things that I shouldn't have been doing. Like even when we're sitting here, you're probably like, okay, like you're a music executive, you have a tech company, you play poker, you have a podcast. Like I think I lost my sense of identity in having all those things too. Like I don't want to be called a poker player. I don't want to be called a podcaster. I don't want to just be called a music executive.
Yeah,
But
that
then
is
who the
true.
fuck am I? I'm like, what am I supposed to call myself? So then I just started saying no to everything and not wanting to do shit because I felt this lack of identity of who I wanted to be. And I can't speak for Todd, but I know Todd goes through that lack of, that having a, sense of self and self-image thing as well. Like we all go through that shit. So I think for me, it was just like getting over these humps to be like, I'm going to do this again. Like I'm going to dive in head first into a project again. There's like,
It's great to have multiple hats. Because it's even, especially like if you want to continue doing podcasts, like people would love to hear about that stuff. You have so many stories. Like we're just touching like the top of the iceberg when it comes to you, dude. And I told you like when we first met, I was like it's great that you have guests. I want to hear about you, bro.
Yeah, we want to get to know
we
who
need
you
more.
are, bro.
I never
and
talked
Brett.
about myself on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, bro. Like you got to talk about yourself because when he told me about professional
Poker
player and then all this and that, I was like, damn, like he's just.
I
so
didn't even
chill
know he
out
did
here.
all that.
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't know you
So,
did all
like,
that, bro.
I need to see more of that dynamic, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Just you and Todd. That would be fucking awesome. And
We'll
it's
see.
great to get. It's great to have like to put your guys' like self first. I mean, we do that a lot, especially because we're family. We struggle a lot when it comes to the podcast. We're like, we don't want to do it this week. Okay, what's going on? We'll drop it. We'll see how you doing. Yeah, it's important to do that because a lot of times it's like, it's a struggle doing podcasts, especially like going every day and like every week, like just trying to fucking come up with topics and just talk to each other.
I think you guys should just do it for the whole year. Just do a
Yeah.
whole year run and see how it goes.
I almost think that this time around, like I might not even watch the episodes because I would get over insecure about like stuttering and stumbling over my words.
Trust me,
Dude, I
bro.
fucking
Trust me, bro.
I just let it be, man.
I get in the comments, they like come after my English, bro, because I be saying some weird shit, and then like say for example, I want to say like, hey, how are you? I'll probably be like, hey, are you? Like I forget a
Hey,
word
are
in
you?
my
Is-
sentence.
is-
Hey, already you.
Spanish your first language?
No,
No.
English is. That's the problem. Like I just be fucking talking, and I just be like the other day we were talking about a ghost video, and I want to say like, oh, this kid saw this ghost floating, but instead I said flirting. Like I'm just talking in my mind, just goes.
You're speaking so fast. It
Yeah.
happens,
Yeah, no,
bro.
you're,
And I was
you're
like,
too smart for
fuck.
your own good. Your mind's
Yeah.
working fast.
Exactly. See,
I
look
like
at
that.
shit.
He's gonna
I'm
tell everyone.
smart.
Bro, I'm smart.
I'm
See,
smart,
But
bro.
speaking
You
of ghosts, you guys told me you're really interested in ghost stories.
see? Dude, we
Yeah,
fucking
we
love
have a-
ghosts.
Yeah, I don't know if like you're familiar. We do a lot of like just talking about ghost stuff. We have our own like separate show called
Yeah.
Scariest Shit,
Okay.
and that's what we do. Like when you said you had some stuff with Sam and Colby, I texted you. I was like, hey, are you, like, do you have like any scary stories? So I won't like.
Right.
So I don't have to bother you telling you on the podcast. And if like we bring people on, they're like, oh, I don't have that much.
Did you
scary
know that
stories.
Todd and I were in a Sam and Colby video or no?
I didn't know
Okay.
because I know you brought them on the podcast. Yeah.
if you know, is it the one where you guys are like blindfolded on the chair?
I was blindfolded on the show.
Yeah, I remember seeing that video.
You saw it?
Yeah, I did.
Sam and Colby saga, it kind of like, there's a backstory to it.
Okay.
So like in the weeks leading up, or maybe the month leading up to them coming on our podcast, again, like I said, I didn't know Sam and Colby. I wasn't that deep into the paranormal world or even the spiritual world that much.
Do you like the paranormal world? Like, or were you like ever like interested in that shit? Like,
I just was unaware.
really? Do you believe in ghosts?
Well, I'll tell you some stories.
Okay.
So when I was like, I touched on this a little bit in the in our podcast with Sam and Colby, but not too much. I think we cut a lot of this out. But when I was a child, I started speaking like at a pretty young age. I don't know if I ever talked. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast. I can't even remember at this point. But I started speaking at a really young age, and by the time like most kids start speaking, I was already telling like full stories, and I would tell my mom these stories of like how me, her, and my older sister were connected in past lives. So I would like be like, oh, like when we were living like in Germany, like I would describe like Germany at this age, and like, oh, mom, I was your dad, and like Stephanie was my, like I would have like different roles that we all were, and I wouldn't call it a past life. I would just talk about it as a fact, like when I knew you at this point, like before I was born.
So you're like reincarnation, I
Right.
think.
So I would start talking about how like in past lives we were in each other's and connected in these lives. But then by the time I was like probably 3, 4, the story stopped and I lost touch with that part of my brain. My mom never forgot. she started going and getting hypnotized by like mediums and shit to see if she could access past lives to understand how we were connected. So my mom was like on her own spiritual journey that I wasn't even, again, not aware of.
You were a kid, honestly.
And then like when I was like 13, 14, 15, I did start having some like weird paranormal experiences that like I won't get too deep into, but like very similar to almost being able to like remember past lives. But I honestly just thought like I was a weird fucking kid. And like I went to like a preppy school and I was always very, very creative and I wanted to like write films and movies and like music. And I just thought like, oh, like this.
Why you looking at me?
Sounds like you, bro.
Yeah, look, I was about to say, I was like, bro, that sounds like me because I'm a weirdo, bro.
Yeah, like I just like wanted to come up with stories in my head. So like when I would have these like weird paranormal experiences where like it felt like people from my past life are trying to speak through me, I thought I was just fucking nutty or crazy. Or,
Did you ever scare yourself? You're like,
yeah, I was scared of myself. I
Yeah.
was, and then like they went away, and then it wasn't until like maybe like a month or two before I met Sam and Colby. My mom started talking a lot about past lives again, and some of the like the stories she could remember. And to be honest, like she told this one story of a past life that I had that connected back to a story that like essentially like I had this like epiphany of a experience when I was 14 that I never told anyone about like a scientist kind of trying to give me life lessons and rules to abide by to be a better person. And the way the description and idea I have of who this like scientist was, I asked my mom like what was one of the past lives that you can remember and who was I in that past life, and she described the same character.
Wow.
So that was like a moment for me where I was like, okay, this is weird. Like thoughts started to connect. I had a meeting with a guy who worked in the music industry. He had also in like private equity. Like he was a finance music guy. And we didn't even end up talking about music or finance at lunch. Like he's like, I'm someone who's really connected to the spiritual world. And like, I feel this energy from you. And like, it feels like it's begging to come out and you're not letting it. And like, I can't help but just want to have this conversation with you.
That's scary.
And I was like, what the fuck? I was
You're like, he's like, I can't
like-
ignore it.
Nah, I'm here for music,
I
bro.
was pretty fucking stressed. And then, and then again, like I went to dinner at my friend's house. My friend always told me his mom was a psychologist. We're both Jewish. It was like a high holiday. I think it was like Passover or something. I was like, yeah, I'll come over for your Passover dinner. I don't even celebrate any Jewish holidays, but like he always told me his mom was a psychologist. I get to the dinner. When I walk in, she's like taken aback by me. And she's like, hey, can I ask you a question? And my friend's like, Mom, stop. You know, like one of those things.
Yeah. Like, you're embarrassing me.
She's like, have you ever had experience with past lives or like the dead trying to speak through you?
Dude, what the?
And I'm like, my friend's like mad. Like, Mom, shut the fuck up.
You're like, perhaps.
I'm like, actually, it's crazy you ask. Like, my mom says I used to have past life experience. She starts telling all these stories. Turns out, like, that's part of her world. My mom, at that point, the reason she was, like, reconnected, she's like, yeah, there's this woman, Rebecca Rosen, who I follow on Instagram, and, like, I read all her books. I just feel like she would really get you. And then I just asked her, I'm like, have you ever heard of a woman named Rebecca Rosen? I asked my friend's mom, and she's like, yeah, that's one of my best friends. My mom's, like, one of her followers.
Oh, shit. Wow. I thought you were about to be like, I am Rebecca Rose.
She was like, that's my best friend. That would be even crazy. So already now it's like top of mind. Sam and Colby come on our podcast. I tell them this story. I'm like, I'm so disconnected from this shit, but this is crazy.
You're so disconnected, but it's like it's still following you.
I'm still to this day a skeptic. And I think what Sam and Colby told me was like, we're skeptics too, but we still are fascinated to explore it. And I was like, that's cool. That's a cool perspective to be like, you've
That's a
had
good
this
way to
crazy
put it.
experience, but you're still skeptic.
So you're like that's your thrive. Like, oh, like I don't believe it, but I just want to keep on thinking about
I'm
it.
open
Yeah.
minded. I became
Yeah.
more open minded to exploring it, and then, they invited Todd and I to Mississippi. We went down there. It was like an old Civil War battleground. You saw this
Holy
episode?
shit! Yeah, what's that? It's
McRaven.
is that what it's called? That
Yeah.
place? Is it?
Like
is
there
it-
was like hundreds of soldiers that died.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's like, isn't that shit like the most haunted? Like it has like really bad like
Yeah, there were
spirits
so
there?
many crazy stories. So
Yeah.
like my first thing is like we go and they tell us a story like when it rains, sometimes you see bones stick out of the ground because like they just died and then they were buried in shallow graves in the back here. So we're like, okay, like let's go take a walk through these shallow graves.
Dude,
It starts fucking drizzling in that exact moment. Oh, so like,
bones.
oh, but yeah, like I start hearing screams. Like I was like, oh fuck, like what? Like, I didn't thought everyone like I was like, It was a weird experience. I was like, I hear screams in my head. There's like soldiers screaming. And then
What?
all of a sudden we look down and there's a bone sticking out of the ground
Shit.
What?
of a dead soldier.
Dude, I want to be like, I'm going back to California. I'm
Yeah,
like,
so I
I'm
look at
leaving.
them and I'm
Running.
like, are
You
you
just,
guys?
you just hear you like, you're stepping on me. You're stepping on me. My bad, bro. It's like you're stepping on his bone.
I'm like, guys, you fucking joking me, dude.
You guys gotta be pranking me right now.
I was like, this is crazy. And Todd's like, what the fuck is going on? And we're looking at each other. We're like hugging and shit. 'Cause we're like,
Shit, I would have been hugging too. I don't know. Like,
I'm like, I just want my boy. Like, give me a hug. This is crazy.
Good boy, good boy, good boy.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then then they walk us through the house and they take us in their different rooms. First thing, like Todd didn't have a lot of crazy shit happen to him. Like I don't know why, but we walk into this one room, my phone flies out of my pocket, a door shuts, and they're like, did you throw your phone out of your pocket? I'm like, no, you watch the footage back. The phone's just chilling like this. It flies out of my pocket.
What the
oh,
fuck, bro? These motherfuckers are picking on you, bro. Those
like,
ghosts are
what?
picking on you.
Hey, my
bro.
boy, I know you know. I know you know.
You know about me.
So I'm already like super stressed about that. Like I'm like, this is getting pretty crazy. And then there was one room where they're like, sometimes the ghosts in this room, because also the house built in different components. So unfortunately, like some of the ghosts can't communicate with each other because they're stuck in their rooms.
Yeah.
So there was like weird things that were happening in each room, and then we were in one room where they're like, yeah, sometimes they like to throw things across the room, like if they don't want people in here. But nothing happened in that room while we were there.
shit, I was about to say, like, they started throwing shit at me.
Like, tell us about pretty much every ghost. They cover like 80% of the ghosts of this house. It's pretty fucking haunted.
80. Damn.
And then they were like, do you
It's a
guys want to
legion.
try the ESPIS method, which is where they blindfold you, noise canceling headphones. They send radio sounds
Yeah.
to your ears.
Well, I
Oh,
literally
I fucking
remember this episode.
So then
fucking hate
you
that
lose
shit.
all sense of reality. Like your senses are gone. And I was like, yeah, let me give it a shot. So they put me under
Dude, no,
ESPIS.
I would fucking.
And they tell me I'm
stress
only going to be
out.
under for like 3-4 minutes. So I go under and I black out. I'm dead ass. I was blacked out. Like I don't remember shit. And I think, I don't remember what I said. All I can remember is I finally say, you got the whole story. I think that's what I said. And then I hear Sam screaming. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I take my thing off and I'm like, dude, you just told this whole story about some ghost. Like, this is crazy. And they like wrote down like captain, all this shit. I'm like, how long? And I'm dizzy. I feel sick. I'm like, how long was I under? They're like 15
You're a
minutes.
vessel then.
They're like 15 minutes. I was like, bro, that felt like 30 seconds.
Wow, dude.
So I'm
I would have thrown up.
so I'm like,
Wait,
the funny thing-
15 minutes
15.
blacked out.
So like, what happened? Like, you had the headphones on, you were blindfolded, like, and you were just like telling like a
just,
story.
I let the like whatever I
Nice.
was hearing, because you hear like that one, like, and then you hear a word, you say the word, but you get into a flow where you're just kind of naturally just
Yeah,
saying
just
it.
saying the word. Like, oh,
No, captain, help, mother, shit like that. So then they
Dang.
piece together this
Gay. I'm like, oh, for sure.
Todd is gay.
whole story. But like, what?
In closet.
Sam is hooking up with Colby's girlfriend.
Like, oh shit.
They were like, fucking way, y'all.
There was what's one phase member Stacy's what's his name? What's his name?
I know you're talking about.
They did that same thing, and he was saying those words. He's like, "Someone smells like shit," and he started laughing, bro. He's like, "I swear to God, that's what it said." And that shit
No,
was
he's
funny.
fucking around. That's so
Oh,
funny.
bro, that's
That's
funny.
crazy.
That's pretty good. So anyway, like the guide who knows every ghost in the house comes out. He's like, actually, there's one ghost I didn't tell you guys about. And he was a captain, and He tells the whole story, repeats the whole story that I told. He's like, and he was actually in this room, and he was pretty upset by the woman who died. I'm like, oh,
You didn't know it at all.
Yeah, I
you
just
didn't know
told
that.
this guy's
and
whole
you just
story.
told it. Fuck.
Whoa.
Did you like feel nightmares or any bad vibes after you guys left
Okay.
that? Or you
yeah.
guys?
So this is actually kind of sad.
Okay.
The story does get really sad.
Okay.
Because I talked about this a little bit on the podcast. So these couple of weeks that I was gone, I think I went to Austin, and then we went to Mississippi, and I was gone for a couple of weeks. I had heard back in LA that this is really sad, but like that Cooper was I don't know if I'm gonna keep this part in, but like Cooper was relapsing and having a really tough time. And on my flight home, he starts texting me. He's like, "I need you to call me. I need you to call me. Like, I need to talk to you." And I was on the flight flying home with Sam and Colby and Todd from doing this ghost hunt. And I was like, dude, like, I'll be home tonight. Like, let's grab sushi, because we usually get sushi. Like, I was like, I'll take you to sushi. We can talk about things. Everything's going to be fine. whatever. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, I'm on a flight. Like, I'll call you when I land. As I landed, he said, like, I'm going to Snapchat you. I was like, that's weird, but okay. As I landed, I checked my phone, because you get service. I'm like, I didn't get a Snapchat from him. Like, that's weird. I think I text him. I don't hear back. And then I get a call from, like, someone that I, like, who introduced us, but I, like, wouldn't expect a call from. And she's like, oh, we found Cooper. I'm like, what do you mean we found him? I just was talking to him. They're like, oh, no one's been able to find him all day. Like, he overdosed. Like, we found him. He died.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, holy fuck. And I will say, like, that whole experience, like, it's hard to think about that experience without being like, how I've never had someone like that pass away that I was close with, that cared about, or felt.
Yeah.
And I will say this, like, the more I think about it, like, I do think we had, like, a really deep, weird connection that I, like, couldn't explain. Where I just, like, we felt like brothers pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We only knew each other for 6-7 months, but, like,
That bond
he
was
would
strong.
even tell people, like, yo, like, I don't trust anyone except Brett with shit. Like, he had a few people close to him, like his friend Jordan, his girlfriend Sab, our friend Alex, and Nessa Barrett was his like his twin flame. He always said, like, so he had, like, some really close people to him, Jaden, but I think we built a pretty strong connection really quickly, of course.
Wow, man. I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
So I was, like, really grateful that I had that experience, but it was so weird, the timing of, like, on the flight
everything
from Mississippi to, like, have that transpire was, like, so bizarre, because it's like you just go through this entire, like, paranormal experience for the first time in your life, and then you lose someone so close to you for the first time in your life. I had never experienced that before.
Wow,
so
dude.
sad.
It's like a whole, like, just like this whole situation.
Not to, like, take the funny out of this shit in the life.
No.
No. Like, yeah.
It was really
wow.
crazy. And, like, I will say that, like, from that point over the next year or so, I did go on, like, a really insane spiritual journey. I still, like, when Sam and I meet up, because Sam's become one of my best friends, like I said, like, we talk about, like, spirituality, and I'm not really religious, so some people talk about it as religion, but just, like, that connection with, that deeper side of yourself. And I do think, like, all those stories leading up, that moment, all the experience I went through, like, I got, like, really deep, not trying to understand, like, how to connect with that spiritual side of myself. I met a girl as well who I felt, like, a deep connection with that I never felt. And, like, I think I confused it with love. I don't think it was love. I think it was, like, maybe a twin flame, or it could be a soulmate. But
Maybe just the right person at the right time. Maybe something like that.
Right person, wrong timing.
No, I'm saying, like, he met someone at the right time.
No, it wasn't the right time. Like, we weren't meant to be together. Like, I think I thought maybe it was love, but I don't think it. Now, like,
You mixed it?
reflecting, like, I think, like, there was, like, a weird connection where, like, I felt like maybe we were connected in a past life, and, like, again, like, there's only a handful of people in my life where I felt that connection with, like, my mom, my older sister. But actually, that was more, not to be rude, but, like, a negative past life connection, because we're not in each other's lives right now, and I think we never were meant to be in each other's lives. But I always felt like a negative energy from her. I think in this instance, it was just an energy of, like, familiarity. Like, I need to know this person on a deep level.
Yeah.
I already know them, and then I confused that with maybe, like, romantic connection. And it, like, we tried the romance thing, and it, like, was clear that that wasn't meant to be at all. But it was so bizarre that, like,
The timing and everything.
timing of everything. It was like
that
boom,
journey.
boom, 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 and then, like, it was like probably a 2-year spiritual journey. And now, like, it's kind of sad is, like, I feel like I'm on the other side where I'm, like, healed from a lot of shit. I've gone through a lot of stuff. I'm over a lot of things, and I'm like, oh, yeah, a lot of that maybe I don't want to call. I think some would phrase it as delusion. I think it was part of, like, a spiritual journey of, like, spiritual awakening, or, like, ego death, things like that. That I think if you talk about people who have gone through spiritual journeys, like, certain things like a twin flame, or, like, that's past life connections, can sometimes awaken those things. And I can think of very specific people, not just the couple people I mentioned, that were part of that journey. But now what's weird is, like, on the other side, I feel pretty numb to that spiritual side of myself, and that connection with, like, past lives. Like, I'm just, like, ready to enter this next phase of my life. Like, maybe meet my soulmate, maybe start that company that's going to be worth $1 billion, do these things that I'm, like, going to be excited about. But I think I needed to, like, have all these crazy shit happen to me.
It's like,
is a normal
you're
part
building
of life.
yourself up. That's what it is. You're building yourself up. Like, you were did you feel like you were such at, like, a low point?
I don't think I realized I was, but I definitely think I just was really frustrated. Like, the podcast would become successful, and then everyone would be like, "Oh, you're a podcaster." I'm like, "Nah, I'm not a podcaster. I just have a podcast." And then I'm like, I did well at poker, and everyone's like, "Are you a poker player?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm not a poker player. I'm successful at poker. I just did well." And then like, I started a tech company. It didn't do well. Like, transparently, like, it could have done way better. I had way higher hopes for it. It wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be. It was like a music tech startup that would help songwriters, and didn't work out the way I wanted. But like, I wanted to be called a tech entrepreneur, but then I couldn't be called that because that wasn't successful. And it's like, but then what the fuck do I call myself? And that was so frustrating. And I think ego played such a huge role in like how I wanted to be identified. And like I knew that there was like a ton of music and art that existed in the world that like wouldn't exist if it wasn't for me. But I didn't write that song. I didn't produce that song. I'm sure I even showed glimpses of that when you asked me these questions. Like, I have a hard time taking credit for any of this shit because I don't feel a sense of ownership. But I do think that was like a lot of ego that bothered me. About those things bothered me in the past. But then I think like, and it's funny because like, you know, maybe the Sam and Colby video, which if you watch it, it's just a fucking hilarious Sam and Colby YouTube video that has paranormal elements to it. But I do think it played a role in my like, it wasn't paranormal, but my spiritual journey of like,
because you had this whole background of
I
yeah, 'cause
know,
think
like
there
the
were so many
behind the
other
scenes of it.
factors, and then when I had that experience, I was like, okay, I'm not going to deny that this is like something that I'm open-minded to. Like I said, I still am a skeptic. You know, there was one time I was on a flight. I said I'm sober. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke weed. I got really sick a few years ago, and one of the things I started doing was microdosing mushrooms. When I got sick with COVID, and one of my symptoms had long haul COVID, I lost my smell and my taste, and I had really bad fatigue and vertigo. I couldn't even wake up in the morning. One of the things that cured it was microdosing mushrooms. So like, I will have my fun with mushrooms occasionally. And this was like about a little bit over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I did like a shroom trip one day, and then like a couple of days later, I didn't even have that crazy of a trip, but a couple of days later I was on a flight. I don't know why. Maybe a flight's like a vessel or something. And I had like a crazy spiritual out-of-body experience that I haven't really had that crazy one since, where I could think of anyone that I've ever met in my life and like what past life connection we would have had, whether they were in a past life or not. And I didn't see them as like human vessels themselves. I saw them as souls.
Yeah, that's
And I
weird.
can't even describe it. And the only thing, and this is me describing it the way I would describe it, the only other time I've ever heard anyone like come close to describing it is when I talk to someone who's done ayahuasca. Like I did.
shit.
And like
That's
the experience
crazy.
that being that deep into like a phase, like it wasn't even past lives. It was just like seeing people as a soul and as like, rather than like an organism. I can't describe it. I don't know. It was fucking weird. And it like changed my perspective on things. But then like within a few months, I was like, can't even remember what I'm talking about. I sound fucking delusional. I sound crazy. I'm just gonna forget that ever happened.
I felt like they don't like bring it up for me, but I always bring it up sometimes. Like where I like, because I've told them like I feel like a crazy person. But like when I say like the reason why we started that whole like scary shit pod, like it's because we were already interested. We're already fascinated in like the whole like
Paranormal
side.
and stuff like that.
We had a lot of stories which we already explained with like the audience, our audience, where we have shit happen to us, to our mom, to our dad, us going to church and like seeing this stuff and like seeing like a lot of like possessions, and then like I see a lot of like demonic spirits, a lot of like,
So you see a lot of evil shit.
yeah, I see like a lot of shadows. Like last night I was already struggling sleeping because of like seeing like shit in my room, which is like fucking floating. Like it's just stuff like that. Like, and I always like feel like I'm like crazy. I always feel like if like somebody that's here that's just like, you know, like a chill dude, like a normal dude, and they bring it up, they're like, oh, Efrain sees like shit. I'm like, damn, like I feel like a crazy person, like a delusional ass kid. But like my mom goes through that, and I feel like it's like something that's been passed down generations.
I'm glad I didn't get
Yeah,
that shit,
it's
because that
funny,
shit would have
like-
scared me. I don't know, like fuck
Like
that.
there's such a fine line between like these people like who have TV shows where they're mediums
Yeah.
and people who are like in mental hospitals because they're schizophrenic, saying that they're like talking to dead people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
where's the line? I
Yeah.
don't fucking know. Sometimes I feel like I should just be put in a mental hospital for the shit I'm saying. So who the fuck really knows what's
really going
not?
on? Yeah.
Maybe you and I should just check ourselves in and just, like, put ourselves in a straight
I'll
jacket.
see you guys.
Like one flew over
God,
the
bro.
We'll see you guys once a month. Like, so how are you now? You still seeing shit?
Yeah, dude. Like we'll be like our own version of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or some shit
Fuck
like
yeah,
that.
bro. Let's do our own podcast. Seeing shit. That's what it's
It's-
gonna be.
We'll do,
Shit.
we'll do it from the mental hospital. We'll call it the Cuckoo's Nest.
Well, I think that's the end of the podcast because we talked a lot, bro.
How long are we in right now?
We're at 1 hour and 40.
Holy shit.
Our fans love it.
Our fans love it, bro.
Well,
The-
they're okay with
podcast.
long episodes.
Dude, the longer the better. They like beg us to be like, can
Yeah, I
you
hope
make
you
it
guys
2
like
hours?
it. I
I'm
hope you
like,
guys are nice to us. I hope you guys don't.
How often
think
are
that
you?
we've
How
been
long
here.
yours is episodes? When you
40 minutes, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what we want to go
That's
to.
what we
but
cut it down to.
Honestly, bro, thank you, dude, for coming out here. It was such a fucking pleasure having you. If you guys like this stuff, again, follow him. If you want to say anything to the audience with any up and coming stuff that that's got
I mean,
coming in your life,
the biggest
bro.
thing is just that Todd and I bring the podcast back. It's the most
yeah,
relevant
bro.
thing. It's
Yes,
exciting.
I'll put the link in the description so they can go
Hell
to it.
yeah.
when
Yeah.
it drops.
And if you want to say anything to the audience, any like advice, to them, it's your time right now.
I feel like I gave a lot of what I said. I hope is good advice. You know.
Yes, it was.
think
It was. It
It's
low-key
good
was.
advice to us, dude.
Yeah,
Honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, go ahead, Efrain. Close it off for us.
Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Go check out Brett. Follow him on his socials. Follow us on our socials. Everything's in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow us. And use code Kickback Crew to get $20 off your first purchase on SEATGEEK. What else?
And the Patreon.
Follow us on our Patreon with a lot of shit coming up. Hope you guys like our skits on Instagram, TikTok. Go.
All right, peace.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.